Ancient monuments, grand reminders of the thousands of years-long odyssey that is the history and development of human civilization. Yeah, so here are a few that got blown up. The Parthenon was built in Athens in the mid-5th century BCE to act as a temple for the goddess Athena and to give thanks for their victory in the Greco-Persian Wars. It also acted as a treasury for the Athenians, as well as having golden statues that was designed to be easily removable so it could be sold in a pinch, which is the ancient Greek equivalent of not having an inner wall just in case you might need some copper wires. The first time the Parthenon was heavily damaged was in the middle of the 3rd century when a major fire broke out and destroyed the roof, which I mean, like, how do you even manage to do that? Like, some marble building, how do you screw up that badly? And it was damaged once again when Pyrrhus sacked Athens in 276, but luckily repairs were made to it in the 4th century. But by the end of the 5th century, the Parthenon was converted into a Christian church for the Virgin Mary, and it was converted once again after the Ottomans took Athens in 1458 and turned it into a mosque. Now, during the Mauryan War, which was a smaller war, which was part of a larger war, which probably could get some video, the future Doge of Venice, Francesco Morosini, who ironically couldn't go into battle without his cat, led a Venetian force to attack Athens. The Ottomans fortified the Acropolis of Athens and decided to use the Parthenon to store all of their gunpowder. Ah, what a beautiful temple. Fill it with explosives. Allegedly, Morosini was told by a deserter that the Ottomans stored their gunpowder in the Parthenon, thinking he wouldn't shoot at it, which in turn caused him to have all his guns shoot at it. So in 1687, when a Venetian mortar round struck the Acropolis, the resulting explosion killed 300 people, destroyed the entire roof, nearly collapsed 3 of the 4 walls, destroyed 3/5 of the sculptures, and set fire to nearby homes. While most people were horrified with what just happened to such an important monument, Morosini said it was a, quote, fortunate shot. After the battle, Morosini caused further damage by having his men loot the remains of the Parthenon, and even considered destroying the entire thing so the Ottomans couldn't have it. If I can't have it, you can't have it, suckers. But luckily that part didn't come to fruition. And I mean, like, just damn, he must have really hated the thing. Also, fun fact, his cat was embalmed and is on display in the Museo Corea in Venice, so if anyone wanted to check out the cat of the guy who blew up the Parthenon, I guess you know where it is now. Many people know the legend of the Trojan War, but for those who don't, here's the gist of it. Paris, the king of Troy, ran off with the king of Sparta's wife because she had mad rears, causing the Spartan king's brother to lead an army against Troy. But after a 10-year-long siege where a bunch of famous characters die, the Greeks give up and leave a big horse for the Trojans as a gift. Except there's a bunch of dudes waiting inside the horse, so the night the horse is brought in, the dudes on the horse sneak out and open the gate, allowing for the Greeks to go in and kill everyone. Now some of the Trojans survive and sail off to Italy and become the Romans, or, you know, that's at least what the Romans would like you to believe. This is the story of the Iliad by Homer, and it's the story a young Heinrich Schliemann will become fascinated by, one time boldly declaring that he would excavate the city of Troy at just the age of 7, which I mean, like, it's a better ambition than most 7-year-olds, I will admit. Despite this fascination though, Schliemann ended up becoming a businessman who traveled the world representing several companies, resulting in him becoming fluent in several different languages, and he claimed he could learn a language in only 6 weeks. But all this changed when he found out about the death of his brother Ludwig in 1850, who had become rich in the California gold rush. This caused Heinrich to move to California, where he started a bank that bought and resold over $1 million worth of gold in only 6 months. In his memoirs about his time in California, he lied about getting his United States citizenship in 1851, lied about having dinner with the President of the United States in Washington, D.C., and published a fake eyewitness account of the San Francisco fires. We got the month that happened in wrong. But Schliemann's time in California would come to end after the local Rothschild agent complained about his gold shipments being lighter than he said they were. And this caused him to pretend to be sick and use that as an excuse to sell his business and move to Russia. Hey, you're scamming me. Sorry. In Russia, he continued his business exploits, mainly buying and reselling indigo dye, making him the 1800s equivalent of a drop shipper. Through these ventures, by 1858, at the age of 36, Heinrich Schliemann was wealthy enough to retire and finally focus on his dream of excavating Troy. At the time, from the legend, most people thought Troy was like around here, specifically at this hilltop, but Frank Calvert was like, nuh-uh, and claimed it was at Hissarlik Hill instead. After managing to convince Heinrich of this, Heinrich used his vast sums of money to hire a team of local workers to begin excavation of the hill. Now, Heinrich's thought process was basically like, oh well, the Iliad happened to be in ancient times, so the remains of Troy must be at the bottom of the hill. So when excavation teams began making slow but steady progress, while being sure to carefully extract and maintain the artifacts they found, Heinrich was getting impatient. This caused him to one day go out and buy several cases of dynamite, and to the horror of the entire archaeology community, blow his way to the bottom of the hill. In doing so, he revealed that the site had been inhabited for over 5,000 years, and that that a city there had been rebuilt over 7 times. The different periods of habitation, ranging from the Bronze Age to the Roman period, were divided into 9 layers called Troy 1 through 9, with 1 being at the bottom and 9 being at the top. Heinrich ended up believing that the Troy of the Iliad was in Troy 2, and even claimed to find treasure that belonged to the king of Troy, which he promptly smuggled out of Turkey, resulting in an international scandal and a massive legal battle. Despite his claims, most archaeologists agree that the Troy featured in the Iliad is probably Troy 6, making it one of the layers he partially obliterated in his efforts to reach the bottom of the hill, therefore meaning he blew up Troy. Due to the Turkish government being mad at him for stealing a bunch of prized artifacts, he moved his operations to Greece and excavated the city of Mycenae, another city mentioned in Homer's legends. There he claimed to have found the palace of Agamemnon and a solid gold mask that belonged to him, despite the palace showing clear signs of being from a later era, and the mask literally having no evidence linking it to Agamemnon. But hey, who needs such frivolous things like logic? He still became an international celebrity, despite the dubiousness of his claims, dying in 1890 to cholesteatoma. If you liked the video, feel free to like, subscribe, comment if you learned something, and click this video right here.